So with the 3 times XP event coming up real soon, it's a super great time to really focus on XP farming to get the most shade levels you can. And the best way to maximize your XP farm is to turn on those directives. In this video, I'm going to show you a build that is capable of running any difficulty with all 5 directives for maximum XP. And then I'm also going to be doing this without modifiers, so if you want to, you can turn them on, but I won't be using them in this video. I'm also not going to be going over any farming routes, but if you're interested, I'll leave a link in the video description for another video where I go over some open world farming methods to help maximize your XP farm. I'll also leave a link to a video of my favorite one-shot build that easily runs heroic with all directives if you're interested. So the first thing I wanted to note is that the difference between experience for most activities is not that much different between difficulties, and that the lower difficulty with just one directive in most cases is actually more experience than the next difficulty up with no directives. So for example, here you can see I'm on challenging. I have one directive, and this public execution is 234,000 experience. So now if I switch my game mode to heroic, this same public execution is actually 4,000 experience less. So if you're right on the line between difficulties, just remember that the lower difficulty with directives is going to be more efficient than doing a higher difficulty with no directives. So if we look at the directives, you can see each directive is going to give us plus 25% experience. And then if you have all 5 of them on, it's going to be plus 125 experience. And you can use whichever directives you're comfortable with, but these top 4 are not too hard to deal with. It's usually this pistolero directive that is going to be the hard one to deal with, because you're going to start with no ammo, and hostiles killed with a sidearm are the only source of ammo. So this last part is sort of true, but not really. And the build I'm going to show you is going to almost completely bypass this directive, allowing you to pretty easily run all 5 directives. So in this build, we're going to be using the ongoing directive gear set, because this build is going to give you bleed ammo that is completely separate from the ammo that you normally carry. And the bleed ammo refreshes every time you get a kill, so if you keep killing, you're basically going to have infinite ammo with this build. So let's take a look at the 4-piece bonus for this gear set. It's going to have rules of engagement. Shooting a status affected enemy will apply a mark. Killing a marked enemy grants a full clip of hollow point ammo for your active weapon. Mark lasts for 10 seconds. Hollow point ammo amplifies weapon damage by 20% and applies bleed on hit. So right here you can see in my ammo bar I have 1,079 rounds. So I'm going to hit this target with a Banshee Pulse to apply a status effect to him, and then kill him. Once I do that, you can see I now have 149 bleed rounds. And these rounds are going to refresh every time you kill an enemy. And these rounds are actually separate from your regular ammo. And because we're going to be running a specialization that automatically regenerates your ammo in the background, even if you do drop your bleed ammo, you're going to have plenty of regular ammo to get your bleed ammo back if you happen to drop it. So if we scroll down, I'm going to have weapon damage, crit chance, and a crit chance mod on here. Let's look at the chest. I'm going to have weapon damage, and a crit chance mod on here. And this is going to have the talent Parabellum Rounds. Increases hollow point ammo weapon damage amplification to 50%. So this is going to increase from 20% to 50%, which is going to be a huge damage boost. For the holster, we're going to have weapon damage, crit damage, and the knee pads, weapon damage, crit damage. Now for the other 2 pieces, I'm going to be using 2 pieces of Petrov Defense. The first piece is going to be the Contractor Gloves. This is going to give plus 10% LMG damage, plus 15% weapon handling. It's going to have weapon damage, damage to armor, and crit chance. Then on the backpack is the second piece. It's going to have weapon damage, headshot damage, crit damage, and a crit chance mod on here. It's going to have the talent Unstoppable Force. Killing an enemy increases total weapon damage by 5% for 15 seconds. Stacks up to 5 times, so a total of 25% increased weapon damage. Now down here you can see I only have 726,000 armor. But since I'm going to be using an LMG, you're generally fighting behind cover. For me, the lower armor is not that big of a deal. But if you like more armor, you don't like to feel as squishy, you can change any of these red cores to blue cores to boost your armor up, and you'll still hit plenty hard with this build. Now for the weapons, I'm going to be using the named LMG Carnage. You can see this weapon doesn't have any expertise in it. It's going to have LMG damage, damage to targets out of cover, crit chance, and it's going to have the talent Perfect Sadist. Amplifies weapon damage by 35% to bleeding enemies. So since we have bleed ammo, we're going to be doing plus 35% weapon damage almost always. Now if you don't have the named LMG Carnage, you can actually roll the regular version of Sadist on any weapon. But for this build, I would recommend using a belt-fed LMG for the extra large mag. So if we look at the mods, I'm going to have crit chance, and then you want this extra 50 rounds on the mag that you're going to get by using the gunner specialization. And then I have crit damage and stability. Now for the secondary, I'm not going to be using it too much, but if you saw the ongoing directive build that I just recently posted, you know that this secondary is a police M4, and I'm going to have the talent Vindictive on here. Killing an enemy with a status effect applied grants you and all allies within 15 meters 16% crit chance and 16% crit damage for 20 seconds. So if you don't mind swapping your weapons back and forth, you can actually drop a lot of crit chance in your build in favor of crit damage, and then this talent will make up for the difference in crit chance, allowing you to do more damage. But I'm not a super big fan of switching weapons all the time, so I'm just going to go with higher crit chance on the build and stick with the LMG for most of the time. Now for the skills, since we're going to be using the gunner specialization to get the larger mag on the LMG, we're also going to use the Banshee Pulse, because the ongoing directive build doesn't apply a status effect itself, so we need a reliable way to apply a status effect to get the bleed ammo. This is also decent to use because if you're using scavenge skills, I think this only takes about 4 scavenge skill trophies to reset it. And for the mods on this, I'm going to have radius and effect duration. And the second skill, you can use whatever you want. I just like to use the Reviver Hive. And if we take a look at it, I don't have any mods for this. Now if we look at the stats, I have 54.5% crit chance, 101.8% crit damage, 726,000 armor, and 72,000 armor on kill. And last, the specialization is going to be Gunner. This is going to allow us to use the Banshee Pulse so that we can apply a status effect to get the bleed ammo. This is going to give us 10% armor on kill. This is going to allow us to repair our armor instantly and get 30% bonus armor for 10 seconds when using an armor kit. And this supply line talent is going to allow you to regenerate 10% of your total ammo capacity every 60 seconds. So while you're shooting your bleed ammo, this is going to be regenerating your ammo capacity in the background. So if you happen to drop your bleed ammo, you're probably going to be at full capacity of regular ammo, so you can easily get your bleed ammo back. And then down here, you want to make sure you have LMG selected, and then have this large pouch selected. This is going to allow you to have the plus 50 round mod to add to your LMG. And keep in mind, this only works in belt-fed LMGs. This doesn't work with an LMG with a clip. So now for a quick tip to get started, since Pistolero is going to take all your ammo. So right here you can see I have no ammo. and I'm going to run down into the shooting range. And I'm just going to stand down here because once you spawn into the map, after 1 minute, because of the gunner specialization, you're going to regenerate 10% of your ammo. So I'll fast forward just a little bit. So now it's been 1 minute, and you can see I just regenerated ammo. Now I'm going to hit this target with the Banshee Pulse, shoot it, and now I have full bleed ammo. And now I can just go into my map, go find an activity, do whatever you want. There's public execution here, I'll fast travel here. I can run over here, just start shooting with my bleed ammo. As long as I keep killing, it's just going to refresh bleed ammo, and now you don't have to worry about pistolero ever again. And that's the build. Try it out and let me know what you think. If you're not using this build, leave a comment and let me know what your favorite build to run during XP events is. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Detecting additional hostile contacts. Hostile incinerator turret detected. Target down. Good job.
Looks like you earned yourself another bounty. Well done.